Stop fucking writing ads to broke people.
Yes.
Right?
That's
like
the secret. One asshole goes on YouTube and says, here, I made $10,000 a month with a shitty fucking ad. And says, are you sick and tired of blank? Yeah, dude. Congrats on burning your industry.
I've been in a niche where we have the most expensive pay-per-click on Google in human history. The way they approach advertising is I'll put one toe in the water and then, woo, it's cold.
Stop writing those ads. Just stop it. Just be better.
Well, this was something that like I feel super passionate about, and you and me are the only two people I've actually heard mention this, which is stop fucking writing ads to broke people.
Yes.
Right?
That's
like
the secret. That's the secret.
But you know, it's like it's one of those things that like I think in most people's mind when they conceive of whatever their niche is, whether it's super broad like business owners or whether it's niche down dentists, e-commerce, coaches, in their mind, any coach is equal, any dentist is equal. Like it's and they like, you know, from having done this, like, you know, I can tell you, I've met attorneys that are struggling to get their first client. And I've also worked with law firms that are pushing $1 billion with a fucking B, and they are not the same thing, even though they're technically the same niche.
But if I go ahead and write an ad that says, do you hate paying for ads? You should pay me for ads. It's the worst fucking thing on the planet, right? Yeah. Like, I think you sent it to me or somebody else sent it to me. There was a post in the GHL group, which was like, is your course struggling to sell? Yeah. Why would you want that client?
Have you never sold anything in your life and you're completely broke?
Yes.
Let's work together.
Don't do that. Just don't do that. My favorite is I'll see people that compete with my current offer and they're like, never have to sell anything ever again. Why would I want that? Why would I want that narrative with my clients? Like, no, that sounds horrible. I've seen another one that is, are you sick and tired of having to follow up with your future clients? I don't want that person. I want an ad, or I want someone responding to, do you love selling? Do you want to follow up for days? Do you want to build an amazing business? That's who I fucking want.
Yeah.
That's the $1 billion law firm guy. Right? So
yeah, can I just say it? Like I kind of pass people through these two filters. So like and this doesn't matter what industry somebody's in. I think the most ideal clients always have at least two things in common. One of those is they're currently spending money. So I ain't convincing you should spend money. I am just convincing you that our way of doing it is a better way than what you're currently doing. So correct. You give us at least some budget to show you. And then the second is you have a team, which means you're used to paying other people to solve problems for you.
Yeah.
And so if you write ads, I find to those people, like, for example, like if I was writing an ad, you know, to obviously a market I know super well, attorneys, like the first thing I would talk about is like how expensive TV ads have gotten lately. Why am I starting there? Because I know you're fucking spending money on TV.
Yeah.
Ergo, I know you're not broke.
Yeah.
And then secondly, I would talk about like the problems it creates for your team and payroll and things like that if your acquisition is super expensive using TV. And therefore, whoever responds to that is like guaranteed not to be broke and not to go, okay, this is my last $500. If you fuck me, Miller, like this better work, right? Like, which is a lot of the conversations folks are having, and they don't realize it just started with and the flip side of that, like, I'm sure you've done the same. Like I've run ads that are like, are you desperate? Do you need clients to keep the lights on? Like that kind of thing.
You should hire me. Don't fucking do that.
and then you end up with like, you know, struggling, desperate, broke people. And you know, the whole, like, you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Well, you're going to be your business is going to be the sum of your 5 closest clients. And if they're all broke and struggling, like, don't be surprised when yours business is too.
So here's what I'm seeing people do. And for some reason, they all hang out together like crabs in a bucket. Yeah. Right? Like shitty people with shitty businesses with shitty marketing practice, they all hang out together. Cool. If you're in that bucket and you're triggered, sucks to be you. Be better. So here's what they'll do. So they'll all get together and they'll write an ad that like, are you sick and tired of your agency not performing? Don't write an ad like that, but fine, because you're only going to get people that are sick and tired of their agency not performing. If an agency doesn't perform 9 times out of 10, it's the offer, it's the competition, It's the closers. It's something like that, right? But fine. They'll run an ad as like, are you sick and tired of your agency and your ad's not performing? Are you frustrated with spending thousands of dollars on marketing? So now we're only talking to people that suck and spend a little bit of money, right? And it's like, have you always wanted blah, blah, blah? And now it almost doesn't matter because you're only talking to people that suck and have bad offers and bad businesses. But they'll run that, right? They'll optimize for leads and they'll start getting bad leads. And then they'll have an appointment setter, and that appointment setter will be in a silo. Like your only job is to set 8 appointments a day with these leads. So the appointment setter's freaking out. Like, I don't care about quality. I just got to hit my numbers. That's it. And the salesperson is there too, right? Yeah. And they're not going, we're optimizing for fulfillment, optimizing for good quality, optimizing for good clients. They're like, these are the worst fucking leads in the world, but I got to make money. So you got 3 people building an audience of shitty people and shitty businesses. Yeah. And when all that starts to crash down, it all falls onto your fulfillment. And what I've discovered, those clients,
by the way, are the quickest to cancel as well, by the way.
Immediately. Like something went wrong 2 weeks in. Okay, goodbye. Okay, well, you're fucked, right? And then they go, this isn't working. My leads are not converting. Let me switch out the setter, the appointment setter. Or they go, we'll just slap a risk reversal. So now what your marketing message to the world is like, are you bad at your job? Do you not have any money? Would you like a refund? That's how they run shop.
Yeah. I think there's a mindset piece to this, Jeff, as well, because like I've heard a lot of agencies owners when I explain this to them, they go, well, I'm not really ready to work with like $100 million business. I need to like work with some struggling businesses, kind of get my feet wet. And I think of that as the equivalent of like, hey, I'm not ready to date the prom queen, so I'm going to date like 6 abusive crackheads.
Yes.
And once I learn relationships from the abusive crackheads, then I'll be ready to date the prom queen. And it's probably not going to work that way. You're probably not going to learn relationships correctly from the crackheads to be able to then go date the prom queen.
You will then magically be optimizing for crackhead clients.
Yeah.
That's how it is. And they have no clue. They think this is the whole dance. And so then they only click on and learn from people in that little circle, in that vortex, churn and burn their clients, churn and burn their staff, reset every 3 to 6 months. And they have no damn clue it's because their sick and tired ads are appealing to the worst clients of the whole fucking world. Like I'm coaching in another program right now. Like we do an ads call Thursday. And the first thing I go, are you attracting struggling people? And they'll go, fuck. And they all have to rewrite their ads because every single person was writing an ad that was like, are you sick and tired of going to an in-person gym? Dude, you are an in-person gym. You are. Why would you do that? Like, what are you doing? Right? Why would you run an ad that says, are you sick and tired of being coached, of eating the right food, of working out consistently? Dude, you're not a plastic surgeon. Even if you are, you would not want that client.
Yeah.
You should be running ads that are like, do you absolutely thrive in high stakes, high physical activity environments? Do you want to push yourself as far as you can go and lose as much weight as possible? Do you want somebody who's going to hold you accountable? Like that's the type of shit we should be talking about.
Yeah.
But instead, one asshole goes on YouTube and says, here, I made $10,000 a month with a shitty fucking ad. And says, are you sick and tired of blank? Yeah, dude. Congrats on burning your industry for the next year and a half.
And you and I know because we coach a lot of people. Like that guy comes to you 3 months later and say, everybody churned and I'm broke. How do I get clients again? Right? Like that nobody talks about that. Like it's not exciting to show, hey, this is the 37th month in a row. My cool client has paid me. Right. They show that, hey, I just collected new money. And therefore, like you said, most of those types of like broke, desperate, struggling very rarely stick around longer than 3 months. It's like I remember how he said all the right things. So he said to me, hey, it's been 20 years and I know I need to grow my law practice because I know I need to advertise to reach that next level. He said, I'm ready to do it, blah, blah, blah. Now, mind you, I've been in a niche where we have the most expensive pay-per-click on Google in human history, right? It's like 78 out of 100 of the most expensive Google keywords are all like personal injury law.
Yep.
And so he he said, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to grow. Now, if I this is why I said I've learned to trust behavior on this, not words, but he spent $0 to date on advertising. So now I'm trying to convince somebody who never has. But anyways, he gets into it. And I remember we're running the ads. And at some point, the ads just stopped delivering after we spent like $200. I couldn't figure out what it was. And I don't know if it's still true on Facebook, but he had set some sort of like account limit, like stop spending at $200. And so I called him to figure out and the speech was like, well, basically like, we spent $200. Why am I not a millionaire? Like if I spent $200, I don't see what's going to change if we spend 2,000 or 20,000. Ergo, advertising doesn't work. And a lot of those people, like they literally like, it's like the way they approach advertising is I'll put one toe in the water and then it's cold.
It's too cold. I can't do this.
I can't do this. Right.
But that's because we prompted them with an ad that said like, are you sick and tired of committing to your marketing campaign or whatever the fuck? Yeah. Right. It's like, stop writing those ads. Just stop it. Just be better. Right. Because what you are communicating is what I call the whiplash, which is we'll get a client and then they're like this with their business. And so that whiplashes right into ours. It's why our business, which is built on other businesses' success, is so uppy downy. It's so unstable. It's because we attract unstable businesses.
Yeah. With
our words, our marketing, our message, the headlines, the ads. It's fucking insane. The easiest fix anybody can do is get better clients. That's it. And do it with a better ad.
I actually think that's 60% of agency success is like getting those better clients, as he kind of mentioned. And it's funny too, because like I remember a big aha for me that I wrote about in my book was a Dan Kennedy thing I was listening to. And he said, if you sell shoes, and he was like kind of making an analogy for marketing services. He said, if you sell shoes, your first instinct is going to go sell for need. So you'll run around looking for people who are barefoot and need shoes, and you'll just bash your head against the wall. And to me, that the equivalent of that is you'll look for people who are not advertising, not growing their business, and try and convince them to do it.
Yes.
And they'll say things like, well, I've walked 30 years on word of mouth. Why would I need shoes all of a sudden?
But let me try to convert you. Let me convert the non-believer. I'm going to proselytize. I'm going to send the message. Stop trying to convert the unconvertible. It's never going to work out.
So what he said is like, what you really want to do is find somebody who has 200 pairs of shoes.
Yep.
Thank you, honey. I got a little bookmark from my cutie. But he says you want to find somebody who has 200 pairs of shoes in the closet and make an argument for why they need a 201st pair of shoes. And they'll fundamentally already believe what you need them to believe.
Correct.
And it's funny because I remember thinking like when I got started, like this inevitably means you're punching up. You're obviously aiming for a business that is oftentimes 10, 100 levels past where you're at. Mm-hmm. And I used to think when I got in there, like these people, well, what would they need me for? They're doing 100 million. Like, what am I going to show them about? And the funny thing is when you get in the door, you find out it's the opposite. Like I think of the top law firms where just with TV ads, they got to figure out recording it. They got to script them. They got to sometimes get permission to use certain testimonials. Mm-hmm. They got to run them by the state bar to make sure they're not breaking any laws and they're not going to get in trouble for it. They got to figure out a phone number, a jingle. They got to edit it. The lawyer's got to actually show up and make videos. He's got to like get microphones and videos set up. And then they got to go buy media from like CBS, NBC, and they got to negotiate with all of them. And there's like 27 moving pieces just on that one thing. And they're doing 100 different media because they're also doing SEO, pay-per-click, TikTok, Instagram, you name it, they're on it. And their tendency is to look at them and think they have it all figured out because they're doing 100 million. And when you get into it, you find out it's the opposite. They got way more problems than a guy who's just trying to get client number one, who's desperate and broke and struggling. They're going, hey, we got a crew or we got a staff of 150. And if we don't figure out this fucking TikTok thing, like everybody here is going to be out of business. And, we'll have to fire 50 people if we don't get this system working. And the ironic thing is we think the businesses that are the most struggling, that in other words have need, are the best fit, but it's really the ones who are actually already doing well and now seeking that next level that actually have all the problems that you know how to solve.
Here's the analogy that I use, right? So Ferrari has the Ferrari SF90 or 60 or something like that. It's like 600 grand, right? They sell this Ferrari like Birkin bags, like you got to be on a list and it can't be your first one, that type of thing, right? They'll never actively sell Ferrari SF90 to anyone who has not bought a Ferrari before. They don't do it. You know what they do? They say, no. If you want to buy a Ferrari, you got to start with the Portofino, like 200 grand, right? You got to buy that first, and then we'll call you. And the reason why they do that is because the Ferrari Portofino's job is to make you say, I like buying Ferraris. That's it. Yeah. And it's much easier to sell somebody a second, third, fourth, or fifth Ferrari after they've gotten over the first hump. And I'll bet you all the objections and questions they've ever gotten come from the Portofino owners who are the first-time Ferrari owners. And whatever the car happens to be, it doesn't matter, right? But it's like, you got to get somebody from 0 to 1. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is super easy, right? If you are advertising saying, hey, if you've never advertised in the past, you're talking to somebody going from 0 to 1. You have to convert them. You have to proselytize. You have to change their mind. You have to do brain-breaking, belief-shifting experiences, dramatic demonstrations, all stuff. Like, no, man, like you don't need to do that, and you don't want to do it because these people right here have forces outside of your control reinforcing their environment. So you could, if you feel like you should, spend 100 hours trying to convert somebody to say, oh my God, I should spend $100 a day. Or you could spend 1 hour trying to convince somebody who's already spending $100 a day to spend 1,000. That second one's so much easier. Yeah. And they're better clients. And they got a better offer. And stuff already works. And people like buying their stuff. And they got team. So when I see posts about like, hey, if you're a course creator or a coach or consultant or local business or national paper lead buyer, and you haven't had any success, I go, good fucking luck, dude. You know, may you change a country's mind. Okay. Maybe millions of people all of a sudden wake up and go, I should do this, but I ain't going to help you. Because those people, you just can't do anything with it. Yeah. Nothing. Not a damn thing.
Can I just say thank you for putting that out there? Because I feel like I've always felt like 60% of success is just knowing how to pick the right people. Yeah. And if you get this wrong, I feel like literally everything is uphill because then you're trying to convince people all day long. Like I spent my first 10 years, like we had an SEO agency, and I felt like everybody's dumb. Nobody gets SEO. And and you know, when I look back on it, like I was trying to convince a lot of the wrong people that they should, you know, care about, you know, ranking their website and things like that. And when I look back on it, I'm like, man, if I just knew how to pick them better and I knew how to aim ads at the right people, like 90% of my headaches would have disappeared overnight, because most of the fighting, like I always say, there's two sales. One sale, you should advertise. You should care about investing and growing your business. And the second sale is with me. And when I look back, they fight you on the first sale, not on the second one. They fight you on the, why should I grow my business? Word of mouth has been great for us.
I was on my dad's podcast like last week, right? And I was talking about the who, what, when, where, why, and how. Like those like major 6 questions. Like everybody as a concept gets it, right? And I asked them, of the who, what, when, where, and why, and how people, who spends the least amount of money? And it's the how people. The how are you doing it? Teach me how you're fixing this. Teach me how you're creating. Those will spend the least amount of money and probably the most amount of time with you. And when you create these 8-hour-long YouTube videos, you're optimizing for the how people. When you spend any level of marketing message or marketing communications focusing on the who, those are the people that will spend the most money with you and the least time.
Yeah.
And when you're going back to that Ferrari example, right? If the Ferrari salesperson says, let me show you how this car works, that's not a buyer. That's a technician.
Yeah.
That's an engineer, right? If the Ferrari salesperson says, let me tell you who this Ferrari is for, that's a buyer. That's a sales conversation, right? So everybody keeps running these damn ads and these damn YouTube videos on how the whole machine works. Nobody cares, at least not the buyers, at least not the good who's, right? The good who's are too busy running their business to spend 8 hours watching your craft. They're too damn busy. Can you hear my cat, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's old and crazy.
I get it.
Yeah, dude, he's yelling at the wall because he's lost. Hold on. Let me put you. I'm not fucking kidding.
Yeah. But to your point, Jeff, I was thinking about this. Like if I was looking to buy a deck because I want some backyard barbecues or whatever.
Yep.
If an ad says like, let me show you how to build a deck start to finish.
Yeah.
Like that's going to appeal to the do-it-yourselfer who doesn't want to pay somebody to do it, who wants to learn how. I may be able to sell them a $7 info product of here's how to build a deck if they don't go on YouTube and learn it for free without me. If I say, hey, do you just want to have backyard barbecues and like in 2 days this shit will be done, and have a pro come in and just make it happen for you? Like that's to your point. That's a who, that's a why, that's a buyer kind of conversation. And I don't think enough people think about this too. And I'll tell you that there are certain industries as well, because you and I get to see like a lot of agencies and a lot of different industries. There are certain industries where, because the barrier to entry is lower, say for example, like real estate agents, like somebody can go get their weekend real estate course. This is even more pronounced, where like I look at it like 95% of real estate agents, you would not want as clients because they're fucking broke and struggling, and they won't be real estate agents 5 years from now.
They sell one
you want
house
the small
every 2
amount
years.
of guys who like, you know, are on 87 different billboards around their city, spend a whole bunch of money and got a team of 50 people. And most people are writing like, are you broke, desperate, trying to sell any home? Are you trying to get your first real estate sale? Is nobody buying your shit? Are you a fucking loser who can't make this work? Instead of, hey, do you need more deals because you got 50 people and the billboards aren't cutting it like they used to? Well, like, let me tell you how quickly we can fix that with Facebook ads.
So that is the key learning, the key difference that I think separate good media marketing ad people from bad media marketing messaging ad people, headline people, whatever you want to call them, right? Because the people who are bad at their job are optimizing for results on a spreadsheet. I need to hit 3 appointments a day, right? I don't care how good they are, how bad they are, as long as they fill out the form 3 appointments a day. That's my KPI. My job is done. They get to say, peace out. I fucking did my job. I made the delivery, right? The very good ones are saying, so who is filling out this form? Who does this ad apply to? Who does it push away? Who does it keep? And is that the person that's going to spend 10, 20, 30, 50, $100,000 over the next 6, 9, 12 months? That's the difference, right? But nobody fucking talks about that shit because it's not a Stripe screenshot. It's a retention game. It's a fulfillment game. It's a team game. Like that's the real dollars, right? But you can't make a YouTube video about how we have 97% retention and all of our clients love it. And we got an NPS score of 9. Like that ain't going to get any headlines.
Yeah.
YouTube ain't optimizing for that shit. Right.
I think about that, just like a story on that. I had, this was like 10 years ago, and I was running like a live event. And so I was running some ads to my live event, and I had a coach who told me to optimize for numbers on a spreadsheet, as you kind of mentioned. And I was hitting all those numbers. So like he wanted me to have at least 1% click-through rate. That was hitting it. We had like 2 or 3. I was like super stoked about that. Then he said, you want at least 20% of people signing up on your landing page. We were like 30, 35, like we were above that. Then he said, I want you to drive people to this webinar. And for like every like 15 or so people you get on the webinar, I want at least one of those people to book a call. And they were booking a call. And then he said, I want, like a certain percent, like a cost per call metric. I think it was like $150 or something back in the day. And I hit all of those numbers, and every single person would go, I'm broke, I'm struggling. And I was like writing those kind of ads, but I was booking like 200 like calls a month, right? Like we're not talking like 1 or 2. And I was getting like 200 broke people. Yeah. And then eventually I figured out like the very thing you're describing. And I remember our actual total number of calls booked went to 6, like 5, 6 a month. Yeah. I started averaging, and I would close like almost every one of those people. Yeah. And they were qualified, and they would spend money, and they would say thank you. And if you look at all the surface level numbers, that first funnel was way better than the second one. Correct. Because our click-through rates were higher, our opt-ins, our cost per call, like all the numbers on a spreadsheet say we're winning. But I kind of look at it like a bar where I grew up, by the way, it's right on the border of Detroit. So it's close enough to hear the gunshots, but it's in Canada. And one of the things is, the legal drinking age in Canada, at least where I'm from, is 19. So anybody who's 19 or 20 years old from Michigan comes over on the weekend to get shit-faced drunk. Yeah. And if you're trying to fill a bar, the most important metric is, do you get the hot girls in the bar? Because if you get hot girls, like guys will come in and spend money. And like if you're writing ads, okay, you can get 100 dudes in there, but they're all going to end up leaving because they're not going to stay unless the hot chicks are in the bar. So like to me, like I look at ads like you want to like really hyper focus on, like, are you a hot chick who needs something to do on a Friday night?
Yeah. It has to be I guess the term is like client avatar, ideal client, but that doesn't seem to hit the way it should be, right?
Yeah.
It just needs to be a good business with a good ad responding to your good offer. And the start of all this is like, can you write a damn ad that makes somebody say, I'm interested in buying your stuff? What I've discovered is that every time I put my business on a spreadsheet, I get fucking pissed. Every time. Because the numbers are not big enough. They're not wide enough. There's all these fucking bottlenecks and all this bullshit. Except later today, we're going to sign another 10K deal from a 45-minute conversation that is super friendly. I go, okay, well, at least the clients are good, right? The who is amazing. The how almost doesn't matter when your who is very good, right? And she's already got a successful business. Shit's moving in the right direction. I go, this is exactly how it should be, right? Had a 45-minute conversation, 10K program, easy peasy. We had a client today tell us not how much money she made, not the contract size per deal. She didn't look it up for whatever reason. It's a short 30-second conversation. She said that she got like 20 deals from our Facebook ads in like 45 days. And we spent $2,600. So it's like $133 per deal. I go, fucking amazing. I look up the ad. It's the same ad we ran for 5 other clients. Same exact ad. Of this batch of 5, one client was like, this is the worst campaign we've ever done. Nothing is going to work. We hate you. Charge back. The other 4 are going, this is the best fucking campaign we've ever had. It's the who. Like, if they are already successful, you can make them successful. So here's another example. I'm speaking to the crowd when I say this. When you go to Harvard, right? Are they really talking to bad people, okay people, amazing people, or absolutely holy shit, you are a rock star people? Who are they talking to? Talking to these people, right? It's very easy to make these people successful. They're already successful. You just got to 1% them in the right direction. You put them in a room together, they're happy no matter what. Teach them one thing, oh my God, this is amazing, right? If you talk to these people, there's not a damn thing you can do to make them successful. They are just bad. And if you replace people with businesses, they're just bad businesses. There's stuff out of their control. So I think the dirty little secret is if you just have good clients, your whole fucking business works.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Amen to that. Can I just say something on that? I watched way too much Kitchen Nightmares, Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
And if you watch all the episodes, eventually at some point you'll Google like what happened to this restaurant, what happened to that one. And I looked up the failure rate. So like when people call Gordon Ramsay for Kitchen Nightmares, they're like broke, struggling, like the kind of ads we're saying not to run. And everything's fucked up and the owners are fighting and their food is shitty and they gave up caring 10 years ago. And it's like the writing's on the wall. Of the businesses he visits, and so like just so you guys who have never seen the show, so they get the publicity of the world's most famous chef going in there. So like just the publicity surge alone like fills their restaurant. Then he helps them like make over their entire menu and like their food costs. He has a team that comes in and renovates the building, and in some of the episodes he even leaves staff behind to like train them and help them and get them up to speed. So they'll have like a cook who like is kind of like their training wheels for like a month. 95% are the failure rates of the restaurants Ramsay goes in to fix. So even the world's best chef can't save losing restaurants. So I say, like, if here's a guy who's built like, the most successful restaurant empire of like high-end stuff anywhere, and he can't save losers, what fucking chance do you have?
Yeah, right. Like, what makes you think that you are qualified to transform somebody over the internet by sending them leads? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Right. But
you'd crack up too, because the comments are all like, oh, the owner's an alcoholic, and they went right back to their sloppy ways like 5 seconds after they said fuck him and his ideas, and they went back to the same shit they were doing before.
Yeah.
And it's like some of these people don't want to win.
No, not at all. We had a guy, he was getting $50 phone calls in New York City for water heater replacements. So just normal everyday Google AdWords campaign, right? 30 days later, not a single sale. I go, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? I review the text messages. Gambling problems, addiction problems, doesn't pick up the phone, right? His last chance before he gets back into jail. Oh my God. Like, what are you going to do with that? Like, there's nothing you could do. Best results of a campaign in New York City for water heater replacements I've ever seen. $50 a phone call. The wrong who. An amazing how, but a wrong who, which means it's dead. If you had an amazing who and an okay how, it would be working every fucking time. So yeah, it's interesting how like the ability of an agency owner to select their clients is a function of the ad that they write.
Yeah.
And I think this might be like a challenge that everybody has, but everybody is of the stance that it's solved with KPIs. It's solved with like being more accountable or holding them accountable or doing all sorts of fun stuff like hiring a coach to make sure your client moves in the right direction. Like, no, man, you don't want to be in that business. You want to be in the business of just saying, here's the stuff that you paid for. This is all you need. You are already successful, make you more successful. Just like if I was Gold's Gym and I ran out saying, are you sick and tired of coming to the gym? I would only get on the phone with people who are sick and tired of coming to the gym. And guess what I would try to sell them?
Yeah. Yeah. No, right? Like, just imagine that.
Like, what the fuck, right?
You hate the gym? Come to the gym.
Yeah, it's going to be great here. It's everything you don't like. Yeah, right? So I'll see gym ads that are like, we have the nicest machines. I don't want to talk to somebody who only shows up to the gym because of the nice machines. I've seen ads of gym people that say, we always have an extra treadmill. I don't want that. I want people that are going, I need to gain muscle, and I'm not the type of person that's going to let an excuse get in my way. That's who I want at the gym. I want people that are saying, all I need is someone to tell me what to do and I'll execute. That's who I want at my gym. I want people that are strong, driven, motivated, and they're already going to the gym. I just have to why don't you take a right down the street instead of a left? I think you're going to love it, right? I've seen ads in the gym space that are, the ad is something like, have you always wanted to lose 15 to 20 pounds, but you don't have the energy to get up every morning and go to the gym? No, don't do that. The counterpoint is they're going, well, we're going to sell online personal training. Go, still, you don't want that. You want somebody that says, you want an ad that says, if you've always wanted to lose 15 to 20 pounds and you need somebody to keep you accountable, so all you have to do is go to the gym and not worry about what you're doing, that's the type of customer that you want, right? That's the type of person that'll just rock and roll through the whole thing, leave you a testimony, referral to all your friends, and now you pierce a whole new customer avatar. And like, it's amazing. Either way, like I've seen hundreds of these ads that are appealing to the worst client, and then they try to sell them the exact thing that they hate.
Yeah. And to your earlier point, they often add complexity after the fact. Well, the client's not closing. Let's add an appointment setter. Let's add some AI follow-up. I'm not saying you can't do those things, but man, if you just stop working with the fucking drunken, broke, redneck, alcoholic kind of dude, like chances are.
Let them go figure out their own business themselves. There's plenty of information all over the world for them to figure out exactly what they're supposed to do. And if you've got a doctor, lawyer, attorney, plumber, etc., maybe they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But if you're going into an industry that has no barrier of entry, and the barrier of entry is actually their knowledge of business, what are you going to do? You're going to run ads for a hair salon lady who can't manage to charge more than $35? You're out. Not going to fucking happen. But if you run ads for a hair salon that's like, hey, if you run a hair salon and you got 30 people working underneath you, you need to keep their schedules packed. Oh, now we're in business. So yeah, it's just been a wild ride. Yeah, dude, I've been working on this idea for like maybe 4 or 5 or 6 months after realizing like my best clients are just good business owners. And I can send any email on their behalf, any text message, any ad, and they know exactly what to do and how to do it. And then my worst performing clients are the ones that take up so much damn time that I'm sitting there going, why am I even talking to you? Most times, because I generally have an attitude problem. It's like, what are we doing here? like you can't pick up the phone. You're feeling unmotivated? Okay, goodbye. I can't help you, right? And maybe I can say that now because like the recurring revenue is so large, I can be like a little bit bitchy with my clients, right? But looking back, every time I ran an ad that was like, I mean, even for my clients, when we run ads that were like, are you sick and tired of your back hurting? Come to a chiropractor. No, man, that's not going to happen. It should be something like, if you've always wondered if chiropractor care can make you feel good and help you achieve your healthcare goals, you should talk to this guy. He's really good and has a 3-month, 9-month, and 12-month package. Like, that is optimizing for a sale, right? Optimizing for a person, optimizing for a good who. So I'm just kind of ranting, but yeah, you get what I'm putting down.
No, but this is a needed rant. Like, every time I see your stuff, I'm like, yes, because like I feel like this problem is actually rampant. Is that there's all these like sort of cover up mechanisms, like appointment setters, and we're gonna add in the AI follow up system, and we're gonna do this, and it's just like, no, just stop fucking trying to turn losers into winners. Correct. And when I say losers, they might be like nice people otherwise in the game of life, but at the game of business, they're clearly fucking losing.
It's a broke business.
And then you end up being the savior. Like, I think of it like, like a lot of ads are the equivalent of like, are you a restaurant that can't get anybody in because your food sucks and your service sucks and you got a mediocre thing in a small town with not much foot traffic? Well, we can save you, and like put on your cape, instead of going, like you said, to your point, you have 37 locations, but 3 of them are dragging ass. And now that you got your staff in shape, like, let's go fill those new locations with some Facebook ads or whatever your solution is going to be a better client than, have you never ever been able to make one sandwich good?
Yeah. Do you not know how mustard works? Let me get 30 people in there who want your mustard, right?
Yeah.
I used to have this like savior complex of like, if I can save myself, I can save others. I think that's just part of the journey that everybody goes through. I wish I could not have that much sooner, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like, if I had another shot, another swing at the baseball to do a grand slam, I could do it, right? If I presented the opportunity to the next guy, they could do it. But it's almost never the case that they will ever do a grand slam. It's almost always the case they will say, I've missed 29 out of 30. So I hate all this, and baseball sucks ass. That's how they approach it, right? So it's the difference between somebody who's in the marketing seat, who ignores the 29 misses and goes, we just hit it out of like Thomas Edison style. Like we missed 999 ways to invent a light bulb, but we got it right the first time. Like that type of shit, right? Versus a normal everyday business owner that is going to go, I can't believe we wasted 29 minutes with all these leads. It's so bad. It's so horrible. Just let them be horrible. Just let them be bad. That's it. You don't need them. There are plenty of businesses, plenty of people, plenty of wildly successful offers that will help you make and probably make you $500,000 a year. And you just got to focus on 2 or 3 of those businesses, and they're rocking and rolling, and they're wildly successful already. And they just want more success. They don't want a ClickFunnels style transformation of going from 0 to 1 million or 0 to 1 or whatever you want to call it, right? That stage sucks. Focusing on those people is horrible. That's the conversion. That's the converting. That's the proselytizing. That's the trying to change someone's mind about working out. And when I think of the personal trainers that are wildly successful, they don't try to convince you to work out. They only talk to people that are already working out. And then they only talk to a percentage of those people like, hey, if you play basketball and you're a successful senior or junior in high school, and you think you got a real shot at getting the NBA, you should pay attention to this ad, because in my coaching program, we're going to show you the 4 things you're missing from your high school education, your high school basketball education. It's going to help you get into and prepare for the NBA when you graduate from college in 4 years. Like, that is a person that is pinning their life success on their ability to play basketball, and they are more than happy to pay you a boatload of money to accelerate that success.
Yeah.
That person, there's like training camps like that all the time. It charges a whole boatload of money for success rates that are 1 in a million. Get into the NFL, NBA, MLS, etc. Right? 1 in a million shot. But everybody there is already successful. Meanwhile, you have personal trainers down here. They're like, if I could just convince one more suburban mom that she needs to go to the gym to lose her bat wings. What are you doing, man? Like, how are you going to convince them? She's too busy. Yeah. She doesn't think of it. She doesn't care. So that kind of stuff.
I think as a kind of a practical matter on that, like one of the things that I learned on this is when you let go of that savior complex is to start talking about what they're doing. Like I have a friend who does e-commerce and he says, if you say, do you want to make a bunch of fucking e-commerce sales? Well, that's everybody. Everybody in the market wants more sales, even the broke, struggling people, the successful people. You haven't really like filtered it out. But if you start talking to what they've already done, if you say, hey, like, were sales really hot in January, but now you got a bunch of inventory sitting around. Now you're speaking to something they've done and a success they've had in the past. And therefore you're not speaking to the, are you broke and struggling and desperate, but you're speaking to the, have you already taken this action? Has this thing already happened? And I find if you focus on like, what are they already doing and speaking to that, like what are the already successful people doing and like talk to the challenges that happen at that stage, you immediately exclude this. And I don't know what it is because I'm not American, but like I'm Canadian born, but I have a friend who does like financial planning, and there's a certain tax that only people who have like $1 million a year, net worth pay.
Alternative minimum tax, AMT.
Okay, there you go. So like the headlines they run is like, did you pay too much AMT tax last year?
And that's only rich people stuff.
Yeah, exactly. A broke person sees that, scrolls right past it. Like, I don't even know what that means.
Yep. So then the fun part is once you understand that concept, it's very, very easy to write an ad that Instagram likes, YouTube likes, Facebook likes, that people who have that problem will also like, opt in, and have very simple sales conversations and very simple fulfillment. That's it. So in the email space, here's another example. I'm seeing people have wild success, like hilariously wild success, by saying, I do email for e-commerce companies that use Klaviyo, that sell over $1 million a month, but need their welcome sequence improved ever so slightly, so their click-through rates go from 5% to 8% on their first email. Like, what the fuck is that specificity? Like, that's insane, right? But it ends up being a client so wildly successful and wildly qualified, and they're doing all the stuff, they're already familiar with it. They end up closing like $8,000 to $10,000 a month contracts because this person's already doing $1 million a month. They know if they got their click-through rate increased by this to this, just this, they get an extra $30,000 a month. So it's very easy just to say yes. And then there's this exponential effect because as they get more clients and customers, that ends up becoming bigger. And then they can do other flows as well and other email automations, such as a client comeback campaign, such as we got a boatload of shit to sell you campaign, such as we saw you didn't buy an OTO, so we're going to send you an email, one-click upsell campaign, right? All those work because this client already has so much volume. So it's hilarious to see an agency owner or a business owner relegate themselves to this bucket of crabs, thinking this is like the best thing they got. And I know all their YouTube channels. It's Iman Ghazi, it's Alex Hormozi, it's Grant Cardone. They just rotate between the 5 or 6 of them, right? Instead of writing ads to appeal to a client who can pay them a boatload of money, who only wants one thing solved, and is wildly specific and successful. So they'll be down here in the same bucket that is 8-hour-long YouTube channels, that is hook after hook after hook, attention, time on video type people, and completely ignoring the Shopify CEO's YouTube channel or the Spotify CEO's Instagram. And you can see that they're hilariously different because these people are not trying to get 8 hours on their YouTube video. They're just trying to send one single message. I think I spent 10 grand on a guy because he had a 5-minute YouTube video with 4 views. And it was just so specific. I was like, that's my problem. Let's talk. Send him an IG DM. He's like, cool, let's talk. It was probably a 20-minute conversation. Money sent. Give me your solution. That's it. And I probably talked to him grand total of 3 hours because that's all I needed. Versus if he said, I will, like, what is that formula? Like, I will double your ROI on your ads in less than 90 days, or I will refund you plus give you $100 for each time. Like that formula or whatever it was, right?
I'll even buy your groceries.
I'll even buy your groceries for you. That formula enabled a whole generation of people thinking if I could just math it correctly and plug in my variables, I could become rich. That's what they believed, right? So they saw it and they're like, that's it. That's all I got to figure out. The brain's fucking connected, right? The neurons fucking fired. I just need to plug this in just like somebody told you. And you know what happens? Is it works for like 2 weeks. And then they go, damn, I got the worst clients that have no business. They are bitchy and moaning, complaining. They want a refund. They're pissed about my guarantee. And then they go back to the same bucket. And then the refund and the guarantee increases. The promises increase. Everybody burns out. Meanwhile, everyone's having a fucking hilarious time up here making a fuck ton of money. Like 10K 2 months, 10K 1 month, 10K 3 months, 1 hour phone calls, 2 hour phone calls, 3 hour phone calls. And everybody is happy. Like there's a guy in my program.
Yeah.
He's doing $3,000 or $4,000 a day, selling a $150 thing to 3 brokers. That's it. He's only got 3 clients. He's making $100K a month. That's it.
It's easy. And like, to me, that's the whole point of having money, isn't it? To like use it to solve problems and buy back your time. So like, if you understand that, like, you know, I think like just to your example, you mentioned the person earlier with like Klaviyo and a working business and their e-commerce, and they're just trying to change a welcome rate from 5 to 8%. I think of like a friend of mine. She started an Etsy store like a year ago, making custom candles, right? Mm-hmm. So like everything about that business is broken, even though she's a cool chick, right? Like firstly is the world does not need more candles, right? Like I never woke up in the middle of the night and thought like, hey, there's just not enough candles for sale. Like let's go find some place selling
now
candles.
That you've said that, like, I think I'm going to jokingly do that at like 2 in the morning. Gia, we need to make more candles. I need more candles right now. Yeah.
And then on top of it, like she's hand making them. So the delivery is like ultra labor intensive. Mm-hmm. And like there's almost no margin on it. Like she makes $5 a candle or whatever. And of course, because like you can get candles virtually like so many different department stores, she struggles to sell them. And then somebody writes an ad like, do you desperately need to sell your candles and stuff? And like at the end of the day, like that business is never going to work. I don't care how many ads you strap to it. I don't care how awesome you like what you do. The flip side of that is if you're talking to somebody who already has a system in place, a database, and almost always like what you mentioned that it took me a lot of years to realize is the businesses that make the most sense have a lot of existent flow. Like there are things that are already working long before you showed up, but there's still undesirable things. Like sometimes, it can be seasonal. Sometimes it's like not as consistent as they want from month to month. Sometimes the margins are too small. Like it's working, but after we pay staff and inventory or whatever they have to pay for. And so like they still got problems and they're happy to just pay people to come in and solve them. Cause that's the whole point of having money is I don't want to learn the 87-step welcome sequence. Can you just fucking do it for me? Right. Like that's the whole point of it is like there's that mentality of it is just, can I just pay somebody to make this go away? And by the way, I'm sure you experience this too. I'm internet famous enough that I get pitched a lot of shit. And if I have to do something instead of just write a check, it immediately becomes less appealing. It's the same.
You're like, no, man, this seems like work. I don't want to do that. Like, well, it's easy. Nah, man, I'm not. No, not at all. For 2 reasons. One, like the joke is that like as you get richer, like you don't want to do stuff you're not supposed to, right? But the second thing is as your business starts to work, you realize you need to start paying attention to the things that are working and not take your eye off the ball, right? So there was a guy that I was happily paying money to, or that I happily paid money to. He sent me an email, or maybe it was an IGDM, something like that. He's like, you will do nothing and I will make you more money with your email. And I will only charge you if it works. Okay. Send me your loom, right? He sends me a loom. The loom is the same thing. I'm going to send 4 or 5 emails. Before I do that, I'm going to fix your delivery rates. And then I'm going to make new offers and the shit's going to work automatic. And all you got to do is not say no. I don't need access to anything. I said, that's fucking great. He's like, it's $3,000 and then 10% draw against the $3,000. I said, okay, easy peasy. I think I've talked to them twice so far and shit's already working.
Yeah.
Like that's an easy yes, right? There have been other people that go, hey Jeff, if I could guarantee you 30 more sales appointments. I'm going, I don't want that at all. That sounds like a lot of work. And then they say, well, they're quality. I know they are. I know you think they are, but let's just pretend that they are. No, man, that sounds like 30, 40, 50, 60 hours. And I already know how to give myself more work. I can do that very well. Right. But that's a whole conversation about like the people that are up here are more than happy to pay somebody for a solution when the solution is pointed, specific, non-general. And the way you get those people on the phone is just writing an ad specific to them, which means people have to do work to write a good ad, and that just seems unacceptable. I just meant to go to the Facebook ads library, copy somebody who put a filler ad that's been running for 2 years. I didn't know you could do that, by the way. There are some people that get their ads ripped off like me. So they just have like 3 or 4 ads that have been running forever. They just spend $1 a day. You can't see that. It's the shitty ads, right? That have been running for years. So if you don't know what you're doing, you'll go to the oldest ad that's been running since like 2022, built specifically as a honeypot so that you, the funnel hacker, will copy it and bomb your business. Isn't that wild?
Dude, it's happened to me, so I know what you mean.
So you
Still cracks me up. I actually remember my all-time favorite one is I had some article about like these are the 7 things you need. I think it was a law ad. It was like these are the 7 things you need to do, and of course, like I was positioning myself as the one who sold it, and some lady ripped it off, added 1 sentence, and the 8th one was "you should pay me," and I was like, you got to hand it to her, right? Like,
well done. Okay, good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Dude, I'm glad we got on this though, because I feel like this is actually one of the biggest keys to success. And a lot of people are trying to solve this problem sort of like downwind with appointment setters and follow-up systems and how can I get my cost per call a little, and it's like, no. Just stop talking to crackheads and start talking to the prom queen, and all of a sudden like everything else will work, because it's like. And then I see that on the fulfillment side too, it gets infinitely more complex because the clients don't call the leads, they don't do what they're supposed to. Like I actually remember once when I first tried this, I had a roofer, and I remember we sent him it was like a profit sharing deal when we were first experimenting with that. And it was like a $250,000 roofing job. And for me, that would like at that point in my life made a pretty significant jump income wise. So I was like, dude, what happened? And he was like, shit, me and the boys, we went and got drunk on the weekend. And I'm like, I'm hungover as a motherfucker. But I promise you I'll get to that lead tomorrow and I'll call them. And of course, 3 days later, you call the lead. There's no more lead.
Of course. Yeah. But that's what happens if like, just don't work with bad businesses. That's it. Yeah. So, there you go. What else should we go over?
I don't know. I was thinking we should probably call it a show, because I got to take a pee and I got to jump in a couple minutes and ram some breakfast in before.
Let's do it.
But dude, this is awesome. I've been wanting to rant on this forever, and you and I are the only guys I've seen talking about this. Stop fucking working with broke people. Stop aiming your shit at broke people. Stop trying to talk to losers. Start talking to winners. And it's like everything else gets easier. Like 90% of your problems will go away just by. And, you know, I had this conversation, too, privately with Josh Nelson, who I think, you know, he was saying in the beginning, he was trying to talk to like broke, struggling HVAC and plumbers. And his description was, they ran me ragged. And then when he realized that he only wanted to work with plumbing companies that did $1 million a year and had at least 3 trucks on the road, his sizable market went down to 30,000, but his whole business worked from that moment on, when he started to realize like, hey, stop trying to sell this to people who aren't winning the plumbing game.
Yeah. And, you know, 30,000 businesses paying you $2,000 a month is still a very large number.
Yeah.
Right. So, all right. That's it for today, Mr. Frankie.
Appreciate you, dude.
Peace out, buddy. Everyone, see you later. Bye.
Buy my book, or I will urinate in your cat's water dish.